Hey fellow gamers, what's up? It's BC from A7 Video, finally bringing you my now playing series for Xenoblade Chronicles. This has been a long time coming. I know I've been promising it. I've been talking about how excited I am to finally be playing this game, and now it's finally here and I get to share it with you guys, which is what I'm most excited about. I really hope we'll get a lot of folks watching this so that we can have a lot of folks discussing this. I can't wait to talk to you guys about this game and what I'm experiencing with it. But before we get into that, if you will indulge me, I want to talk about some new things that I want to introduce with our Now Playing series. So most of you have known our Now Playing series has played out like typical Let's Plays. And if you've been watching our channel for a good while, you probably saw the video Now Playing series we did for Starbound, where I actually talked about this before and didn't really stick to it. And I think I'm going to now, after I've had the experience of playing some more games and getting a couple more Now Playing / Let's Plays under my belt. So the new format, if you missed it in that video, is instead of me playing upwards of 20 and you know, this show, if I played it like a normal Now Playing series like I've been doing, this show would probably be upwards of about 100 episodes. And I don't necessarily want to do that. I think that kind of overdoes it and actually takes away from some of the mystique and mystery that you can have in a Let's Play or Now Playing that encourages people to play it, but it doesn't spoil the entire game for them. That's not to say that this series won't have spoilers in it. It probably will. So what we're going to be doing, without belaboring the point, is instead of playing every moment of every second that I'm playing the game and then recording that and turning it into multiple videos after videos, what I'm going to be doing is doing videos once a week instead of 3 times a week, where, you know, normally our Now Playing series have run on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to run Now Playings once a week. I've actually got a couple new shows that I'm going to be releasing on the channel that are going to take up the other days of the week, but every Tuesday, in this case, we're going to have a Now Playing series. In this case, we're going to be playing Xenoblade Saga. And instead of giving you 40 episodes that you have to trudge through, what I'm going to be doing is playing the game. And as I get to significant milestones, or at least milestones that I think are significant, I'm going to make a show. Probably somewhere around the 5 to 10 hour interval marks. I'll be making shows for you guys where I'll highlight things like what I'm going through in the game at the time, where we are in the story. I'll highlight the mechanics and the play style, things that I love about that. That's pretty much what the shows are going to be about. So that's the new format. Like I said, this has been a long time coming. I've been waiting to play this game for a very long time. Even before I owned a Wii U, I actually contemplated for probably about 2 years getting a Wii. Never got around to doing it. But now that I had the Wii U, I figured now it's time to make that move. So what we're going to cover in this particular show, I've already done kind of the intro for the new format, but we are going to cover the mechanics and the play style. And then I'm going to give you a story summary here very shortly, because I'm actually a little ways into the game. When you start off, you know, you kind of, well, we'll get into that in a second. I'm going to give you a story summary, going to talk some mechanics and play style, and then I'm going to give you a list of what I love about the game so far. Usually I would mix it with love and critiques, but right now I honestly don't have any real critiques for the game, and we'll get into that in a second. So let's do story summary. Basically, there's this huge Titan battle, and I skipped it. That's another thing, you know, format-wise for the show. I don't necessarily want to show opening cutscenes, as frankly, everyone's probably already seen them by the time the game releases, and especially when you're playing a throwback game like this, everyone's already seen that, and I kind of want to leave the story elements up to you guys to, you know, figure out and enjoy for yourselves. It's not to say there won't be story elements in these shows. There obviously will be, but I'm not going to do the opening sequence. But basically what happens is there's this huge war going on between the Homes, or the Homs, depending on how you pronounce that, depending on how you like to pronounce it, which are the human race, these folks here, and what they call the Mechon, which are these, basically, you guessed it, mechanical type enemies. And there's this main character named Dunban who wields a weapon called the Monado that he's using to wreck shop on these Mechons, because the Mechons are completely decimating the Homs. And here you can see I'm completing a side quest. That's something I'll get into in the playstyle and mechanics as well as we go forward with this playthrough. So the Homs and the Mechon are locked in this epic battle that's transpiring after this huge Titan battle. That's what the game opens up with. Well, that Titan battle ends with the two Titans basically in gridlock, halfway destroying each other and taking each other out of commission. And the world basically exists on the bodies of these huge Titans, and there's two of them. So there's going to be two worlds essentially that we traverse in the game. At least that's what I think is going to happen. I've not played this game through to fruition, so I'm giving you what I have up to this point. So the battle is not going well for the humans, or the Homs rather, but Dunban is able to turn the tide with the use of the Monado, that he breaks out and starts wrecking shop on them. Then it kind of fast forwards to the characters you see here on screen. Really, the two characters. Fiora gets added to the fray a little bit later. It basically then comes in on Ryan, the big dude there with the red hair, and Shulk, the main character, so to speak, that I'm running around in circles with right here. And they are in the aftermath of the battle, going through a salvage yard from where the battle took place to get equipment from the Mechon that they can kind of keep their society going. So think of it not necessarily as a dystopia, but as this world that's not the same after a large war. The war's over, and basically Shulk is a scientist that's been examining and observing the Monado over time to figure out how can they wield its power, because what it does to Dunban is it basically incapacitates him. It doesn't kill him, but it makes him lose the use of his right arm, because essentially in that battle, the Monado is controlling him, vice him controlling the Monado. And that's kind of like the theme of the story. You're trying to figure out the Mechon War is over, but you get this sense that Dunban misses the battlefield and wants to get back to it. Oh, we leveled up. Excellent. And he's always got his mind on, I need to get back in shape so I can go back to wielding the Monado for whatever the next big thing is going to be that the world, comes into peril. Fiora, here to my left, is his sister. She comes into the story a little bit later, right around the same time you figure out that Dunban can't use his right arm, and she's taking care of him, and she is hell-bent against him. Wait, who are you guys attacking? Oh, wow, went all the way across the map there. Okay. Hopefully we're not going to die in this battle. But anyway, I got to get closer so I can use my ability. What was that? It's not the ability I was trying to use. Anyway, so now Shulk is, he's working for the lab. Dixon, one of the other characters that's with Dunban in the major battle between the Mech and the Homs, is got Shulk doing a lot of the research. But he's like, Shulk, you need to have a life outside of being this scientist that's trying to figure things out. And that's what brought us to here. We found some clues. Dixon's like, oh, we got to go explore this thing that's going on in this cave, which I haven't done yet. I'm nowhere near leveled. I went there once. I got served because I was clearly not ready for that battle. I stayed getting served in it. But so that's kind of a brief synopsis of where the story is. Right now, the story really hasn't gotten into anything epic. It's just a band of brothers/friends that are trying their best to learn how to wield the Monado, but also to keep their society going. That's the summary. So that takes care of that. Let's talk mechanics and playstyle. So you can obviously tell this is a very large open world, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this world is going to get even larger. Can we attack these? I'm not sure. The world, in my opinion, is going to get even larger once we get out of this place that we're at now. Is called Colony 9. I assume that we're going to get to a place in the world that opens up even further than what we're seeing right now. The battle, the combat, and you're kind of seeing it play out on screen, for me is somewhat reminiscent of Final Fantasy 12. It's not anything as complicated, and by complicated I don't mean difficult, but it's not anything as robust as the Gambit system, where I can assign different kind of Boolean statements, like if, then, else statements, that if we get into a battle with aerial creatures, Fiora will use her ranged attack. That's the first priority. And then second priority, she'll attack magic wielding enemies. It's nothing that deep, but what it is this very much, you lock on to the characters you're trying to fight by hitting the right bumper. And then I don't know who we just targeted. Oh, we targeted the light skeeter over here. And then you go right into the battle. They carry out the battle automatically. I am not, once I target an enemy and then hit the button for them to begin to commence attacking, it happens naturally. Now, what I can control, if I can demonstrate for you guys over here, if that's okay, let's go ahead and get into battle again. Now, What I can control is the use of these special moves. You see me moving the cursor here on the screen. I can do Shadow Eye, which reduces the aggro and improves physical arts. They die a lot quick, a little bit too quickly for me to show you everything there. But then I have these Slit Edge and the Backslash, and then the Light Heal, and then there's this other, basically it breaks the defense of the enemy attack that I just did right there, the Break Attack. And that you control, picking your special abilities, and then picking, here's another side quest that I've completed. I'm getting a lot of side quests knocked out. You pick your special abilities like healing and your special attacks. And the coolest part, one of the coolest things about the game, and I know I'm kind of dipping into what I love about the game, but I have to kind of illustrate the point. One of the coolest things about the combat system is there's no MP. There's no magic points. You use a skill, and then it takes a certain amount of time for that skill to recharge. So now you don't have the added frustration of micromanaging your MP and your HP. You just use the attacks as they're available to you based on how fast they recover after use. And you can level these skills, and I can show you that here. Let me get into the menu. So I can go into manage my arts and skills. I can show you that these are my arts here. Okay, I'm on Shulk, so the Slit Edge, I can level that up. I can level up the Backslash, and that's going to reduce the cooldown time. It's going to, like, so the Light Heal, for example. If I level it up, and I'll go ahead and do that, you can see that my cooldown time just reduced, and now it recovers more HP. And that, that's really the only things that upgrading that affects. But I can upgrade all of my attacks and abilities. Same with Rhine here, and same with Fiora. And I think it's really cool. And then I can go in here for my skill tree, and as I build what's called AP, by using my skills, I can build up my SP as well, and then I get affinity coins every time I level, and each one of these skills will cost me a certain amount of affinity coins and a certain amount of SP that I've not developed yet, and I'll be able to purchase those. And then you've got the party menu, where now I can manage their gear. So I've gotten a ton of gear while I've been playing the game. So I got this thing called the junk sword, right? I can click here. So none of the other swords I've picked up are usable by Shulk. So let's go to the headgear, and it's showing you on screen whether it's better or worse than what I have. In most cases, it's worse. And then same with the armor, same. I've picked up a lot of gauntlets. Let's see what I have gauntlet wise, if there's anything that's just overall better. Nope, and nope. So let's go to the pants. Still only have, and then I know I got some new boots as well when I was out there fighting. Okay, so nothing is really much better than what Shulk has. If we go to Rhine, we can see that these boots are much better than the ones he has equipped, right? As are these. So let's go with these right here. We're going to give him the light shoes. The trousers are no change. And then let's see, what about the gauntlets? Gauntlets, this one is better than what he has on. Actually, they're all better than what he has on. We'll give him this one. And then the torso, I've already been through that. I know I got some new headgear. Nothing really substantially better than what he's got. Weapon-wise, nothing overall better. So there's some kind of tweaks. I can get more attack damage but lose physical defense. You know the score. It's your basic, equipment management system. One of the cool things is I also get these slots that I can attach these orbs to, which give me things like take up my agility, take up my strength, take up my HP, increase, my ether, ability to use magic, basically, and my strength. Now, it also depends too. So like if I come over to, where is it? Poison defense. Here's a little cool thing to consider. If it's a defense item, it can only be attached to armor. You can't attach a poison defense to a sword, for example. And when you attach them, they are attached for good. Now, I assume there's going to be a point. One of the things that I've not unlocked, I can show you on the menu, is this thing that they are calling gem crafting. I imagine once I get to the point where I can use that, I can craft gems, but I'll either find somebody that can do it for me, or myself, I'll be able to unlink a gem from a weapon or a piece of armor. Let's see, what else do we have? That's really all I've experienced in the game thus far. The combat is fluid and fast. The open world is right up my alley. You also have these things, these orbs right here. Let me pick this up. So I got a rabbit diode. When you get your first one, it's going to take you to this thing called the Collectopedia, which I say in British because they spell it with an E. And you fill up the board. As you find the items, one of this block here will turn white. You You can press A and then it tells you what that item is. As you can see, I'm 94% complete on Colony 9. Other, I have none. And I've also been to the Tephra Cave briefly and gotten some of the items in there. Now, the cool part about this is as you complete a category like the flower ones, it gives you, so a lot of those gems that you saw I had actually came from completing this bingo card, for lack of a better way to call it. And I love this aspect of the game, but we'll get into why I love that a little bit later. That's another facet. So the game basically puts in this big Easter egg kind of, let's go find orbs. The orbs also respawn, and I see 2 orbs that I haven't picked up. I'm going to pick them up while I have you guys here. So it turns the game kind of into this fun Easter egg hunt, which is kind of aside to the main storyline. And there's a million, obvious exaggeration, but there's a ton of side quests that you get from people in the towns and just in the places in general that you can use to get XP, to get money, and things of that nature. So that kind of covers where I'm at in terms of the play style and the mechanics. What do I love about this game? Where do I start? I've been told by many people that I'm going to love this game. Many people that know me as an RPG player. So I got asked in an interview not too long ago, recently. And if my man M is watching this, God bless you, brother. I really enjoyed the interview. Thank you for doing that with me. Oh, I got the wrong thing on there. So he kind of asked, one of the questions he asked me in the interview was, what are your favorite genres of games? And it kind of put me on the spot at first, but when I really put some thought to it, my obvious first love is RPGs. That is my mainstay. I will play RPGs from now until the cows come home. Whenever cows come home. I'd love to know where that phrase comes from. I need to look that up on Wikipedia. RPGs, and then, you know, basically tactical shooters would come second. You know, not so much Call of Duty, more Battlefield, more Arma 3, those types of games. Rainbow Six, which is why I'm really fired up about the Division. And Madden. Madden's not really a genre because I don't play all sport genres. That's why I didn't say sports. I don't like basketball games. Never really played the baseball games. Hockey's okay. But really Madden is kind of its own genre to me. But I say all that to say, a lot of friends that know my playstyle when it comes to RPGs and what I like in terms of freedom to explore, freedom to quest how I see fit, and freedom to really enjoy the game at my leisure and not be dictated to or forced down corridors, told me that this game was right up my alley. So far, they've been absolutely right. The open world exploration and questing, and even, you know, really where I'm at right now, this part of the world is not that big in terms of real estate, but it takes a good while to get through all of it to see everything it has to offer. So here's the actual Colony 9 where I met back up with Ryan and I met back up with Fiora. And I'll show you also this thing they call the intimate moments. That's not what they call it, but that's what my brain is remembering right now. But that's sidetracking. I'm really enjoying the leveling system, which I just showed you guys a minute ago. I haven't dug that deep into it, but I like that I like its simplicity, but also its depth. That I have a lot of control, not over just what abilities I can level, but what that controls. My ability to decide, well, I want my healing spell to be more powerful and to basically respawn much more quickly, so I can focus my attention on that. And then I can go out and quest and go out and fight and get you know, more XP to be able to continue to dev that out. So I'm loving the leveling system, loving the combat. I love the fact that I only control one human or one Hom in battle, that being Shulk. Now, cool part about that too is if you don't like Shulk, no problem. Just go to your character screen, hit Y to select your character, press A. Now guess who's in charge? No, I did it wrong. Sorry, man. So I'm gonna hit Y to select the character and replace him with Shulk. So guess who's the leader of the group now? Ryan. So you can use all your characters, but you're only controlling one in battle, much like Final Fantasy 13 or Final Fantasy 12, except that, you know, I can't really manually take over these other characters in the game during battle like I can in Final Fantasy 12. If I can speak English tonight, that would probably be excellent. So yeah, that part I'm really enjoying because the combat, one, does not require micromanagement on my part. I don't like RPGs where I have to go through a menu. Now, and I'm not against the menu and the old school approach. I mean, Final Fantasy 4 is one of my favorite Final Fantasy's, you know, favorite RPGs from back in the day. not against it. I just prefer this. I prefer not to have to tell my party members what to do in every situation, that they just kind of know what the best course of action is. That's what what playing on a team would be like. So if you're going to give me a team, make them not be idiots that require me to babysit them through battle. Love that facet. Love how fast the combat is, that battles don't take upwards of 5 minutes for a regular battle. You know, once I get to the first boss battle, if that takes 5 minutes, no problem. But I don't want to spend 5 minutes to 10 minutes fighting regular monsters just to grind XP. Now, next up, and this may be, it's kind of hard to say that this is what I'm most impressed with because it's such a small facet of the game, but it's not a small facet for me. It actually draws me to games in a way that I think doesn't really resonate with everybody, but it does with me. The soundtrack. Oh my God, the soundtrack in this game is gorgeous. I don't believe I've heard a track that I do not like. It's beautiful. And now you can see the day and night cycle, which is another thing that I like because that helps with the immersion into the game. The music changes. So it's got this like sweet piano track with some flute action there in the background is kind of to texture the music a little bit. The chord progressions, the melodies, the rhythms, everything about this game musically so far has been just perfect, for lack of a better way to describe it. I love the soundtrack. And lastly, for my laundry list of things that I'm enjoying, things that I love about the game, and this one's going to sound a bit strange because this is essentially PS2 caliber graphics. I love the visuals. I do. They're not the texture of current gen systems. You know, I recently played Infamous Second Son. Actually, it's not recent. By the time you're watching this, it will have been probably about a month since I played Infamous Second Son. Neither here nor there. The texturing, the lighting, the rain effects, everything in that game is somewhat gorgeous. Obviously, this type of game doesn't have the hardware or the ability to compete with that. So now I just kind of wanted to show you the town as well, just to see. But the aesthetic, to get back on the point, the artwork, the detail that they put into the character costumes, even though some of them are very ridiculous. The town, the way it lights up, and just the use of color and lighting, it's gorgeous. It's not gorgeous from a technical standpoint. It's gorgeous to me from an artistic standpoint, that the trees, the way they're drawn, the way the landscape is laid out. I love the visuals. I'm really loving this game. I really, really hope that as I continue to play through it, because one of the critiques I've heard from other people is that it takes a lot of stamina to play this game because it's very long and it can get slightly repetitive with the side questing and things that are going on in the game. The way I like to play my games with, you know, like I said, that the Collectopedia, I love that, and I know I'm going to keep saying that with a British accent because it's spelled ridiculous. But I love it. It's like an Easter egg hunt. Like when I was a kid, the way we used to do Easter egg hunts a lot of times wasn't outside. It was in the house. And my mom would hide the eggs all throughout the house, like behind, like we had a library, I remember one time in our house, and she would hide it behind books. But it wasn't just the joy of finding the eggs. A lot of times she would use plastic eggs instead of the real hard-boiled eggs. And in those eggs, she would put money, or she'd put my favorite type of candy. You know what I mean? Like Reese's Pieces, or she'd put $5 in one of the eggs, so I have an incentive to go out and find these eggs. That's the same thing with the Collectopedia, and the blue orbs is now when I go out and find these things, if I find enough of them, I get rewarded with money, XP, and equipment that makes me a better combatant. Those are the elements of play that so many games, for whatever reason, overlook, or maybe their designers just don't understand, or, you know, they're catering to a different audience. You know, the Zelda audience is very different than me. You know, if you're keeping up with my Zelda playthrough, you know that I'm experiencing some frustration with that game. And it's because it's just the style. There's nothing wrong with the game. It's just the way I like to play and the style of it. You know what I mean? So this game gets so many of the elements of play right for me. And because of that, I'm loving it. I hope that I will continue to love the game all the way through to its end. I really have no doubts that I will, based on what I've experienced these first couple hours of playing it. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to adjourn here for this particular episode. I think I've covered a mouthful and a very large swath of issues. Hopefully I'll have issues to cover by the next time I do an episode. So I'm going to put in some more hours. I'm going to do some main questing. I may spend a lot of time doing side quests, side missions, and killing monsters to get stronger, because the dungeon that I'm supposed to be doing right now is quite a bit stronger than I am. I tried it several times and got beat. I didn't want that to be on the video, so when I pick back up, it may be around the 5-hour mark after I've spent some time getting my guys stronger. Let's see if we can jump over this into the water. Nope, we can't. But I bet you where I can jump is right over here. Watch me now. So yeah, I'll come back to you guys and gals once I've oh no, hold on, we gotta get that right. No, don't, that's gonna hurt you, dude. Dadgummit. Yeah, there is fall damage, so be careful. But that's cool. I was trying to jump in the water. But hopefully I'll be able to pick back up on that next main quest to kind of give you an idea of where the story is at in a much more concise method than I probably delivered it in this video, because I was trying to play and narrate at the same time. But like I said, folks, having a ball. This show has been a long time coming. I am elated to bring it to you. I really hope you enjoy it. I hope that you'll share it with friends. I hope that you'll subscribe and continue to keep up with this show and all our shows, really. I hope that you guys and gals out there will do it. And I'm seeing a section of the map that I haven't explored yet, the Agora Shore. And you get XP for finding places. What other games do that besides like Mass Effect? That's excellent. Of course, Mass Effect stopped doing it after the first one because, you know, the leveling in that game is completely pointless. But not going to derail this conversation. I'm going to stay on a positive note. Thank all of you for coming out. Oh, I do want to show you one more thing now that I found this little beetle. So now I'm going to complete my Collectopedia for Colony 9. Let's see what happens. Category complete, 100% complete. So I got Regna's Gauntlets, area complete, and I get a carbon driver. Excellent. See, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's the elements of play when they're done right. They're awesome. But again, thank you everybody for watching. Please stay tuned for more episodes. I'm going to hope to have one of these up again every Tuesday. I'm going to do my best to do that for you guys and gals. But until then, until all are one, this is BC from A7 Video signing off. Allow me to tell all of you peace and Godspeed. We'll see you back here for the next Alloy 7 video.
Alloy 7.